Welcome everybody to Yoga for Inner Balance. Nice to have you with me today. And in today's class, we're going to really bring our attention inward. So the embodiment is the ability to be connected to your body fully. And embodiment has a continuum. And one of them is proprioception, which is what's going on. Where's my body in space? And exteroception is what's going on around me. And interoception is what's going on inside. So as we practice, it is quite important to be connected to all this different continuum of embodiment. And that's what yoga is all about, embodiment. So today, really being aware of those elements around you, you know, the space and how your body fits in that space. And do you feel limited sometimes by the space you're in, or you feel like you can really expand yourself? So we'll just become aware of that with simple movements. And let's just get started. So sweep the arms above the head and start by feeling the spine lengthening. Reaching up with the crown of your head, but feel your hips really grounded into the earth. And now from here, we're going to interlace the fingers in Steeple Pose or Temple Pose. The fingers are all interlaced except for the index finger. And from here, as we press down with the leg and the hips, we're going to arc slowly to the left of our body. Breathing in and out of the nose, coming back to center, and we'll arc to the right. And being aware of not dropping the head forward. And inhale the arms up. And as you exhale, let the arms open all the way out to the side and down. And now placing your hands on your legs, we're going to just rotate the torso slowly in one direction. The next time you come back to center, shift to the opposite direction. Noticing any tightness in your back and your hips. Great. And returning very slowly back to center. Good. From here, we're going to place the left hand on the floor. We're going to bring the right arm up and bring the palm of the hand behind your back and open the elbow back. Good. And now walk the hand out away from your body. And we're going to lengthen the side body a little deeper. And slowly returning to center. Making the movement slow and deliberate. Breath infused. Left arm above the head. Take the hand down. And just slide outward. And then returning all the way back, both arms go up, palms go outward, hands get interlaced behind your back, and we're opening the whole front of the chest. And now with your fingers interlaced, see if you can get the palms a little closer to each other. And it's okay to bend the elbows if you need to do that. Good. And now take your hands that are still clasped and bring them around your right waist. Squeeze the elbow behind you. And now change sides. And now releasing the arms, take them out in front of you with the palms up. And bend the elbows with the palms facing you. And we're going to start today by bringing the right arm over left and joining the hands together or grasping a hold of your thumb or just having the back of the hands together or even a strap between the hands. Now, completely optional, especially if you have a shoulder injury, this may be your max today. We're going to take the arms and sway them a little bit from side to side. Being aware. Movement infused with breath. And return back to center. And as you do, slowly open the arms, the elbows, take the arms back out in front of you. And then from here, bend the elbows again. And this time we'll bring the left arm over the right. And then we gently sway the arms from side to side. And then slowly return to center. Let the hands open slowly and just let the arms rest down alongside the body. So we'll move here into just an easy version of Yoga Mudra. If you need your blocks in front of you to place your elbows, because we're going to sort of do a forward bend, grab your blocks, okay? And the blocks can be on any side that you need, high side, medium, and then low side, okay? Great. So have those ready in front of you, and now hinge from the hips. And I always find it helpful to take the hands, grasp a hold of the hips, and open the whole front of the body. So as you hinge now from your hips, start going down and use your blocks if you need to place your elbows on. And if not, you can bring your elbows down to the floor. And we're going to have the palms up for a moment in a gesture of receptivity. What are you needing right now in your life? And for those of you that have your arms to the floor and you'd like to go a little further into this, bring the palms down and slide them out in front of you. And you can place a block underneath your forehead on whatever side you need. So what's important here is not to round the upper back. Okay, and if you're sensing that roundness, grab a block to place underneath your forehead. Nice long exhalation. You're going to slowly walk the hands back in toward your body. Good. And just spend a moment, one breath break. And from here, you're going to stretch your legs in front of you. Good. So as you stretch your legs in front of you, place your hands on each side of the hips as we sit in staff pose, Dandasana. So for a lot of people, sitting in this position is not that easy. They find that oftentimes this is what happens with the back, okay? That there's tightness in the hamstrings and lower back. So feel free to place a blanket underneath the hips or a cushion or something. And from here, sitting in the center of your sitting bones, roll the inner thighs gently down towards the floor. And the base of the toes are touched, the big toes are touching, and there's a little space between the heels. Good. And now if you feel pretty stable in this position, interlace your fingers and take the palms up to the sky. Feel the lift from the lower back, mid, upper back, crown of the head, palms of the hands. And dig your legs down towards the earth. And inhale. And as you exhale, release the hands all the way back down to the floor. Good. And bend your right knee. As you bend your right knee, bring your heel close to your body. Good. And now place your left hand to the outside the knee, and you're kind of hooking your fingers into the crease here. Good. Take the right arm in front of you. Turn your thumb down and open the arm all the way back. So we do this with an exhalation. So we inhale the center, and then we start to exhale, pulling the belly back behind you. That'll give you a little more twisting action. And as you bring your hand down to the floor, breathe normally. Pull the knee again toward your chest, and keep the chin parallel to the floor as you look over your shoulder. Now, for those of you who find ease in this pose right now, take the next step by wrapping your arm around your entire leg so that your knee is cradled in your elbow crease. Breath soft and easy. And now take a breath in, and as you exhale, take a very slow return. And as you return, stretch your legs back out in front of you. And then we'll work with the left leg. So bending the left heel close to the buttocks. Good. Now, if you find that it's hard to bring your foot in close, let's say you're about this far away, take your hands to the floor and lift your hips and bring them there. You're allowed to cheat. Good. And you may find that a little easier. Now, from here, we're going to start with hooking the fingers over, lengthening out of the lower back, taking the left arm in front of you with the thumb down and opening out to the side on a full exhalation. Take the hand close to your body, breathe normally. And at this point, you can keep your fingers there if that works for you, drawing the knee in toward the chest, or you can wrap your arm so that the knee is cradled in the crease of your elbow. And now looking over your left shoulder, neck is nice and loose. So you're simply turning your eyes to look to the left. Slow, rhythmic breath. And now inhale. And as you exhale, bring your arm back and return to center. Come back in Dandasana. Interlace your fingers and take the palms up. And as you bring the arms all the way back down alongside the body, bring your knees up. Take your hands underneath your knees and come up on your tippy toes and walk in towards your body, finding that place where you can balance easily. Squeeze the legs tightly into each other from your ankles, knees, thighs, and especially hips. And take the legs up into Dandasana, half boat pose. And stretch your right leg out in front of you, pressing the heel toward the front of the room. And now we'll do the other side. And now coming all the way back to center, release the hands and bring the palms to face the ceiling in front of you. Notice any tendency to lift the shoulders and tighten around your neck, which can happen. Shift that to your core. So pulling the lower belly in and back. Good. And now crossing your ankles, take your feet and squeeze your heel toward your body. And then you're going to rock all the way to your knees and all fours. Good. Curling your toes under. We're going to work with the feet, the ankles, and the soles of the feet. So reach back with your hips. And from here, coming back up on all fours, bring the tops of your feet down and sit back. Now, some of you will prefer to have blocks underneath. So we keep the legs together, squeezed in, but we're going to lift the knees and the shins off the floor. So you can have your hands on the floor as you do this, or you could use blocks and see if that works. So pressing down with your hands on the blocks, lift up. So you're getting a good stretch in the front of your feet. Can everybody see that? Yeah. And then slowly come all the way back down. And we'll curl the toes under again. And from here, you can stay upright. That's perfectly fine. You could use blocks underneath your hands. Or you can go back in like a child pose. And then walk your hands back in, tops of the feet down one more time. So using blocks or not. Okay. Taking the hands on each side and then slowly lifting your knees and your shins. Little bonus of strengthening your upper body. And with your next exhalation, come all the way back down. From here, return all the way back on all fours and spread your fingers as much as possible. Good. And now you're going to take your left leg back behind you and swing it between your hands. Good. Curl the toes under of your left foot. And now walk your hands back. And you can definitely grab your blocks here. And I think it's preferable for this gentle class is to place your hands on each side of the block or use the high side of the blocks. Okay, so do whatever works for you. And then come back again, bend the knee, come forward. And then as we exhale, we'll come back again. Good. And then from here, return to center. Take your knees next to each other. Take your right leg back behind you. And then swing your foot between your hands. And again, on that side, you could use the blocks on each side. Stretch the leg out. Lengthen the spine tall. Come back again into lunge. And then opening the back of the leg. And then from here, returning all the way back to center. Take your knees next to each other. And from this all fours position, if necessary, grab a blanket and open it up and place it underneath your knees. Okay. Good. Spread your fingers so that the index fingers are facing forward, thumbs toward each other. Good. And take your right leg back behind you. From here, lift gently from your lower belly. Lift the back leg behind you. Okay. You can stay where you are right now and open your left arm to the side, or we'll take the next step, which is bend the right knee. Lift your knee and thigh up to the ceiling, and with your left hand, find your foot. Lift your toes up towards the ceiling, open the chest. And now inhale, take your leg back, arm in front of you. And exhale, take your hand down and take your knee down. Take a 1 breath break. Extend your left leg back with your toes curled under. Lift gently from the lower belly. Lift the leg back behind you. And you can stay where you are, bringing your right arm out to the side. Or you can bend your knee, lift your knee and thigh up. With your right hand, reach for the top of your foot. Lift your toes up to the ceiling. One more breath. And now reach back with your leg and your arm forward. Inhale. Exhale, hand down, knee down. And rest in child pose. So in child pose, you could use a block or 2 underneath the hips. Give yourself height. You could also put a blanket between your heels and your buttocks. Or lying down in this version of the child with the arms alongside the body and the palms up. And now take the palms of your hands on each side of your knees and rise back up. Good. And from here, we're going to come to standing position. So if you have knee issues that prevents you to squat, you could always squat using blocks on each side. Then you can come up to standing position, or you, with blocks like this, support your body. Okay. You could also just use one block, or both hands come together in the front of the chest. Let the eyes look at something softly. And from a squat, we're going to go into a forward fold. So in the forward fold, we will bring the chest to the thighs, hands to the floor, and the knees will stay bent. So from here, taking the hands down, and I like to lengthen the front of the body here, opening up over my thighs. And from here, press down, bring your body weight a little bit on your hands, especially if you have knee issues. And then from here, lift up. Pull gently your belly back and up. See if that gives your forward bend a little bit more room. Good. And now from here, place the hands in the front of your legs. Lengthen the spine tall and grab your blocks. You may or may not need your blocks. You may need them on different height. It's up to you. Okay. And then from here, we're going to bring our body weight onto the left foot and slowly bring the right leg back behind you and up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, take your foot back down to the floor. Shift your weight now to your right foot. And then your left leg back and up. On the next exhalation, bring your foot back down to the floor. Bring your blocks to their high side. Place your hands on the block and lengthen the spine taller. See if you can straighten your legs a little bit more. So like the torso is parallel to the floor. And now taking your thumbs, your hands on your hips, thumbs in the crease of the hips, squeeze in to center. Press firmly with your legs, lift from the lower belly, and come up to standing position. And from standing position, now feel your body in a different space because we've been on all fours a lot. So being aware of the space around you, what's going on around you. So now bring your feet together or keep them hip width distance apart. So check in with your balance this morning. Okay, good. And from here, we're going to do both a balance and a twist. So you're going to interlace your fingers in front of you and take the palms up. Good. Now from here, shift your weight to the base of your toes and lift your heels up. Good. And now we're going to twist to the right. So with your eyes, let your eyes move at the horizon inch by inch to the right. And it's an easier way to twist. And it's fine to drop the heels down when you need to and come back. And now we're going to inch by inch again, coming back slowly to center. So feel your eyes guide you. Inhale, lift up. And as you exhale, lower the heels down, and we'll take a break before the opposite side. One breath break. Arms in front of you, interlace your fingers. And lift your weight up to the base of your toes. And again with your eyes, inch by inch, this time to the left. Let your breath guide you. then let yourself very slowly come back. Inhale, reach up again. And then as you exhale, open the arms to the side and drop the heels down. Good. And take a moment to notice how your body feels. Feel the sensations in the body after this balancing pose. Good. And now we're going to open the legs wide apart, so you'll need to turn on the long side of your mat. Okay. And you're going to have your blocks in front of you and open the legs wide apart. So we'll be moving into Prasarita Padottanasana. So the legs are out, and so the outside of the feet are parallel to the short edges of your mat. You're pressing through the outside of your heels and the outside ridge of your feet. Good. Feel the muscles of your legs engage. As we fold forward, you're going to roll the inner thighs gently. So what I like to do is this, I like to take my hands into the crease of the hips and kind of manually roll those inner thighs in back behind you. So we're going to take it very slow, so taking your breath in. And then as you exhale, start to roll and just hinging from the hips. Let your torso just be very light. And coming just halfway, place your hands on the blocks. Now you'll find at this point that that it may be necessary to have wider space between your feet. Good. And now press the hip creases back behind you, sitting bones up to the sky. Lengthen the spine, nice and tall. And at this point, if it works for you, you can bring the blocks a little lower down. Especially if you find that your elbows are bending back behind you, then you can lower your blocks a little lower. Or you can have your hands on the floor. And now one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to rest our forehead on blocks. So you can do any configuration you want. You can have one block on its high side, the other one also on its high side like this, or you can have one down. So you keep going until you find your comfortable position. Okay? Good. So go ahead and play with your blocks and see where you are. Okay. So we're going to treat this pose a little bit like a restorative pose. So find a place of ease and comfort. Even though you may have to add one more block or another book on top or make your props a little higher. And just let your forehead relax on the blocks. And then let yourself slowly come back up. So from here, press down with your hands, walk your heels and toes in a little bit. Take your hands back in the crease of the hips, press back, lift up. Great. Bring both arms up and bring the hands together. Good. And so from here, we're going to take the blocks, we're going to do a downward dog in the same way, supporting the blocks underneath the head. Okay. Now you can also use a blanket underneath the heels of your feet to make it like the full restorative position. So you would fold your blanket like like an accordion. So you take it like this, and then you fold it once and twice and place it behind you to rest your heels. Good. Great. So we're going to try this. So we're going to start on all fours and have your blocks in front of you. And another option is if you have a bolster available, you could also take a bolster and place it underneath your forehead. So it is up to you. So we're going to start on all fours, and we're going to come up and have our heels supported by the blanket. And then at this point, see where the blocks need to be underneath your head for support. So it takes a little playing with the props here. Also, another option is to walk your feet out the entire width of your mat. So you may find that as you do that, as you open the legs wider apart, you'll have more length in your back. Good. And then you may bend your knees and press the hips back, lengthening the spine even more. So you're scooping the tailbone back and up towards the ceiling. On the next exhalation, come on back down on your knees, back to the floor. Have your blocks beside you and lie down on your back. And from here, bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, and place the block flat underneath your sacrum and tailbone. And place the other block between your knees on its narrow side. And then lift your right shoulder and tuck it under, and lift your left and tuck it under. Have the palms face up towards the ceiling. And now remove the block that's in between your knees and push the block that's underneath your hips further in front of you so that the soles of your feet come together and on top of the blocks. So allowing the inner thighs to open. Place the hands on your belly. If you need a cushion, place it beneath your head and neck. As you place your hands on the belly, have the tip of the index fingers touch and the thumbs so that the shape in the center is of a diamond. And in the center of the diamond is your navel. And close your eyes and relax. So you should feel the length of your thumbs touching the bottom ribs. And now be aware of flaring out the bottom ribs with the inhale. Your thumbs will move, and then exhale and feel the contraction. Your thumbs are connecting to your diaphragm muscle, the main muscle of respiration. And taking a breath in. As you exhale, bring both knees in your chest, wrap your hands over your knees. Let the shoulders drop to the floor, the center of the chest, the belly and the lower back. And now stretch both legs in front of you. If you need a pillow beneath your head and neck, it's helpful to have the neck fully supported in Shavasana. And you can also roll a blanket or put a bolster underneath your knees. And just let your legs be draped over your prop. Close your eyes. And now soften your arms and legs. Feel those limbs fully relaxed. And feel the props and the earth underneath you hold you. Invite stillness and silence within you. And tune into your inner breath. Exhale out all tired thoughts. Exhale out fatigue, stress. And as you inhale, inhale well-being and health. Exhale out your tired thoughts, your fatigue. And inhale health and joy. Feel both the inhale and exhale nourishing. Let your breath flow at its own speed. Witness your breath as it connects your mind and body together. And do nothing. Now imagine your breath on your forehead between your eyebrows, and feel the inhale from your forehead and then out through your nose. And now feel the inhale from your forehead and out of your mouth. Breathing in from the forehead, between the eyebrows. Exhale out into the center of your chest. Breathe in from your forehead and exhale out through the center of your belly. Inhale, forehead. Exhale, center of chest. Inhale, forehead. Exhale out of your mouth. Inhale, forehead. Exhale out of your nose. And now inhale from your forehead. Exhale out of your forehead. Now fill your breath into the entire body, into the internal organs, into your bones. To all the cells of your body. And now with that fullness of breath in the body, we're slowly moving out of Shavasana. So open and close the hands in gentle fist a couple of times. Pedal your feet a couple of times. And now let your right knee bend with your foot on the floor. Left knee bent, foot on the floor. Roll on your right side, curled up in a fetal position. Let the eyes very slowly open and take in the world around you, the shapes, colors, maybe the scent. And now push your body back to seated position and we'll end class. So make your spine nice and tall and supportive. Open the arms to the side, reach outward with your fingers. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hands together, thumbs to heart. Honor yourself, honor your journey, and honor all the people that have joined us in class today. Shanti, peace. Thank you for joining me for class today.